A very common theme I come across with twin flames is heartbreak. And it's not only with twin flames, it's with any type of relationship. And unfortunately, I have been in this state for very, very long as well. And there is actually a solution for that. And there is actually a meaning. Why do you feel this way? And this is what I would like to address in this video today. Unfortunately, there are a lot more unhappy people with heartbreak than people who are happy. That's why you see so many videos how to get him to do this, how to get her to do this, lots of twin flame videos as well, because when you are happy, you are not watching these videos, and unfortunately these videos are more like a painkiller that make you feel good. They take you out of the pain, they give you a little bit of hope, but they actually don't resolve the actual problem. And in this video, I'm going to give you the medicine that is going to solve your core problem. So the core problem is that you are way too attached to this attachment system that is in the body. Out of 3 systems, we all go through 3 systems as we grow up, and it's happening within 25 years. So when you are 25, around 25, that's when your brain is fully developed, and it goes slowly. So certain parts of the nervous system, and it resonates in the brain, is going to be active at certain times, and we are moving up. And the first part is going to be the reptile brain. This is the survival, and this is basically our reflexes. That's when you are the youngest. And then around age 3, the second part really kicks in, and that is going to be the mammalian system. This is the emotional system. This is where the attachments are. When the child really wants to feel loved by the parent. And if you are watching this video, you are very dominant in this part that focuses on the attachment one-on-one with the attachment figure. And there is a third part of this system, and that is going to be the primate level. That is actually the head, thinking, executing, planning, belonging to a bigger society. And this is where actually the impulse control is. I'm touching my head here because this is the prefrontal cortex that has the impulse control. And this is what the twin flame runner is very, very connected to. Impulse control, so they can repress their emotions a lot easier. They can get away from the relationship a lot easier. First of all, because they are not in this attachment system predominantly, they are in the head system predominantly, which means that they are going to focus more on success, more on friends, and lots of other things compared to the chaser, who is very connected to this emotional part. And if someone is stuck on the first level, this is the reptile level, they are going to be very, very selfish in a sense that they are actually didn't go through on these parts. They're predominantly on the first level, where they really focus just on themselves. And your heartbreak is coming from the fact that you are too much in the middle system out of the 3, and you are stuck in this limbo that am I loved, because your value is coming from your self-worth. If you feel loved, if the person does what you want, and you have to be able to separate yourself from the person. And what that means is that you connect with your head, and you connect with the lowest level, that is the reptile level, and that is your internal, like the deepest self. So basically this energy that you have too much energy in the emotional system. You divide it, so it's going to be balanced, it's going to be equal. So how to do that? So first of all, you have to face reality. And the reason why you feel this way is because this is how you felt as a child. And a runner is going to actually move away from the wound. So they felt it's the fear of abandonment. So they didn't get the love that they wanted as children. And it can be either by you were neglected, so you wanted love but the parent wasn't there. It's very common with girls that the father is never at home, and even when he's at home he's watching TV and doesn't engage with the girls. So that's it. This is neglect. The person is there maybe physically somewhere but doesn't engage with the child. And then you can see it more with guys, that when they express their impulses and emotions, I'm talking like, imagine the little child as age 3 or 4, that they get shamed for it, that, oh, you act like a little girl, you look so silly, what's wrong with you? That's one thing, that they shame the child. Or there is even a worst case scenario when the child starts to cry. Like I heard it so many times, that the child gets into an accident, they fall on the floor, they fall on the table and they break the table, the glass table, and they hurt themselves. And it's not that the parent doesn't even cuddle them. The parent even bashes them, hurt them physically. So just imagine this imprint in a young child who doesn't have the mental capacity. So you have to imagine that when you are so young, you don't have this brain part. You have the brain, but it's not functioning, it's not available for you, especially under age 9. Anything your parent tells you is going to be imprinted in you very deeply. You take it as 100% truth because you don't have the ability, you don't have a critical filter. And these are the wounds that are there because you couldn't process it with your brain. You couldn't understand that your parent was a fucking jerk, and that parent was not suitable for parenting. The parent was abusive, the parent was emotionally unavailable, and you made an interpretation on the emotional level with your emotions, how you felt, and you tried to resolve it with the emotion itself. And you didn't move down to the reptile level where you said, okay, I'm going to detach from my emotions, and you didn't move up to the head. You got stuck in this emotional part. This is the anxious, preoccupied, or the chaser, that you got stuck in this emotional part, and you kept running after still the parent, the attachment figure. This is the opposite gender figure, to get that love, because you couldn't get away into these other systems because this upper system just wasn't available, and the lower system, you didn't think of that. So this is what you feel as a heartbreak. This is your internal self, your true self is talking to you that you need to change. You need to change. You are unhealed, and that's what you feel. The heartbreak is this brokenness in your own nervous system, that you are not whole, you are not integrated. Because if you could understand what is happening, you could detach. You wouldn't feel the heartbreak. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't feel the heartbreak at all. It means that you could process it a lot easier, because you cannot process the emotion with the emotion itself. You need other systems to process it. So let's get into the systems so you can heal. I just want to add one thing that you should look it up. It's called The Body Keeps the Score, and it's a fantastic book that talks about why we get re-traumatized. And it says that the trauma is actually stored in the body, not in the head. So we have to relive the trauma itself. So we re-experience the trauma so we can create at that moment a different body-mind connection, which means that you create a new integration, a new interpretation of the exact same event. And this is the only way to overcome a trauma, because as soon as you make a different connection to it, there is going to be a different pattern within you, because these three systems try to integrate, that they communicate properly. So what you have to understand is that you get into your head first, you connect to your head first, and it means that you read about the 4 attachment types, you understand where they are coming from, what they are saying. Then you also read about or watch videos about how an emotionally mature person looks like, how an emotionally mature relationship looks like. And you try to understand and really memorize that what your own blind spots are, how you can get even more triggered, and why people behave in the way they behave. So what happens is you don't take that thing so personally, because this is what's happening, that if they don't love me, I'm unlovable. Instead of using your head that, okay, if they don't behave in a way, maybe it's them, and see them from their perspective, that maybe they don't have the ability to love you in a way that you would deserve. And you have to recognize that, and you have to really just put the idea in their head that sometimes people are incapable of what you want. Just because you love a person, it doesn't mean the other person can love you back, and you cannot do anything about it. And the heartbreak can stop when you realize that it's not your fault. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just you two weren't a good match. And this is how you overcome that childhood trauma that you have, that you made, that your opposite gender parent didn't love you in the way you wanted. And this is how you overcome this pain, that you see the other person, that it's not your fault. And you also have to face reality, that instead of trying to, okay, I'm going to be enough, I'm trying to be enough, that the other person has disappointed you, and you feel the pain, because this is what you are doing, that you don't feel the deeper pain. And the deeper pain is actually that reptile level, your deep needs, your deepest needs that you crave. And that's actually where self-love is, that you are able to detach from the other person. And this is how you actually integrate these 3 systems, that you understand the other person on a cognitive level, you give love to the other person, check, okay, if that person is good or not good, is able to give enough love and change, because sometimes when they realize that they haven't been emotionally mature, they can change, but only if they recognize their own suffering, that something is wrong with their lives and they want to change. You can never make another person change, unfortunately. I wish we could do that. We could change all of these greedy politicians. And then the last one is that you connect back to yourself, all this knowledge, that the love that you keep giving outside of you towards some person in a way that, okay, I give all my love to you and you give all your love back to me, you actually divide it. And okay, I'm going to give you this much love and check what's happening, but I'm going to give love to myself as well. And if it's not healthy, I'm going to take that love away. And that's the self-love, that you recognize this is your boundary, that this relationship is going nowhere and you have to move away. And this is a very deep realization, and this is a very, very deep pain, because this is when you get crushed, that all the love you have given, all that emotional investment didn't lead anywhere. But this is when you have to engage with your head again, and that's going to be hope. That just because this happened, you are not a failure. Statistically speaking, just because one person acted this way, it doesn't mean that all guys or all girls are going to be like that. And this is when you use your head in a rational way and in a spiritual way, that you hope that statistically, again, there are billions of people on the planet, it's impossible that you will never find someone who can love you. It's impossible. And also you put the hope that you believe in yourself. You have to put that belief in you as well. Not just that, oh, I believe that I can find a guy or I can find a girl. It's also that I believe in myself, that I can find a person who is a suitable match. And I also believe in myself that if it happens again, that I will be able to identify a lot earlier that the person is not suitable. So you can actually see before you have fallen in love too much with the person. Because when you do your due diligence in a way that, okay, you understand the personalities, that what is healthy, what is unhealthy, it's a lot easier to go away when you are not emotionally attached to the person. Because when you are so attached, it's a lot more difficult to override that, because these are lower brain waves. These are a lot deeper. That's why it's so difficult to get away from the person. But you have to understand that these levels are like the brain waves, that the lowest level, the reptile level, is delta, then over that the deep emotions are theta, the lighter emotions, feelings, are alpha, and your cognition is actually beta. That to overwrite it, because what you are doing, it's love and hate, love and hate, love and hate. This is the same level. You have to move one level below. That's that. Those are the most rigid. And it's like, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm going to move away from the person because the person is abusive. And I'm going to give you one last story, and that is just one of my favorites. And it's actually from the TV show Sex and the City. If you remember, Samantha, who had this hotel owner guy, Richard, and they were in a relationship, and she caught him cheating on her, and she left him. And then he begged quite a lot, and she said, okay, I forgive you, let's get back together. But in deep down, she couldn't trust him anymore, and she went crazy. Oh my god, he's definitely cheating on me again. And there is this scene that she gets into a hotel where Richard is in the room and opens the door, and she expects that he was cheating on her again. And they get into this talk that he says that, but I love you, trust me, I love you. And that's when she realizes, and she says that, look, I'm not healthy with you. I cannot do this. I cannot look into every corner all the time thinking that you are cheating on me again. And that's when she says this famous line that, I love you too, but I love me more. And it's not a selfish thing. She realized that there is no point of pushing this relationship forward because it made her crazy. She was very, very aware of herself and very, very realistic and honest with herself, that if she was staying in the relationship, she would be this abusive. She couldn't overcome that trauma, that he has betrayed her. And even though she still loved him, she was able to move away because her mental health was more important for her than staying in a relationship where they would have been just probably abusing each other on and on. I hope this gave you a better understanding, and look, just keep on hanging. It's going to get easier. I know it's ridiculous to say, and I know even when somebody told me that time is going to help, yeah, it's really difficult, and time on its own is not going to help. I'm going to be really honest, because time only keeps you repeating the same thing. What is going to really help you if you look into these things that I have told you, that you start engaging with your head, because all of these impulses that are coming up as well, your head is trying to process it. And if you put more guidelines, more mind maps, more understanding, these impulses are going to actually reduce, because you have to understand how you feel. The way you feel is that an impulse goes up in your head, and whatever is in the head, that is going to determine how you feel. So if you actually change these brain maps and how you see yourself, and how you see the relationship, that is going to drastically change your internal experience as well. And look, you cannot change the past. What happened has happened, and it was a very painful experience for you, a very painful learning experience. But what you can do is you rise like the phoenix from its ashes, and you keep on going. This is what the runner can do really well, that they detach from the emotions and they really focus on the future. And this is what you can do as well, that you kind of get that skill from that, that you really focus on the future and you really believe in yourself. You start to focus on yourself instead of someone. You are the one who can give self-love. And when you respect yourself, you will be with someone who will respect you as well, because you will tell all the people who disrespect you to fuck off. See you in my next video.